Hey everybody, how's it going? We're going to talk about various options for camping. Everyone has a different level for their comfort, I guess, or where they would want to stay. Some people like to get out there and be remote. Other people don't want that because, I could drive to the remoteness, but I don't have to stay there. I could stay in a nice hotel. What makes sense? Really, at the end of the day, it's going to be what you prefer, not what I prefer. But I figure let's talk about this because I think it's interesting because I was thinking about how many people have Sprinter vans nowadays. They have these Sprinter vans, usually converted, but not everyone. A lot of people just buy, like, let's say the cargo van here, and it starts at 36,000. Maybe they do the high extended with the high roof. I know a lot of people did the diesel, and you can have the 4x4. So we'll say continue. You're already, just for your basic van, up to 58,000. That's, of course, being human, you might go through and pick a color that costs money. If you want one of these fancy colors, that's 670. The various packages, look, all these packages. So, and we're all human. We're all like, maybe I'll get the radio, or I'll get the better seats, or I'll get the swivel seats, and this and that, right? So I've priced these just simple vans, and once I put on stuff because it's easy to do in the build here, and you're like, oh my god, $90,000, and right, that's without even building the inside to do the whole van life thing. So that's still assuming you're going to add solar panels and an inverter, and you're going to do something with the inside, even if it's bare minimum. Maybe you do some insulation. Maybe you add a diesel heater. Maybe, you're still going to have to add on. So you might have a $100,000 van, and you see these things running around everywhere. Now, granted, a lot of them are the smaller ones, but it's so common now to see people just with the vans. They have the Sprinter van, and they have, a lot of them have already, they're custom, they're already done up, so they're spending $150,000 for their van. I don't even know why you need that many ladders. That's a little ridiculous, actually. But 3 ladders, hey, I guess if you need to get up in a zombie apocalypse, you got 3 ladders to climb to that roof ASAP. Assuming your van's broke down, I guess, and you can't drive away. But, so let's say you spend $150,000. And personally, if I can get a hotel room for $60 a night, just for me, assume. So we'll divide 100. I got my trusty calculator here. I divide 150,000, divide by $60 a night. I can stay 2,500 nights in a hotel. Maybe more, maybe less, depending on the cost of the hotel. But figuring just myself, $60 a night. That's a lot of hotels. But honestly, you're going to get to that hotel by some means. So really, it's not that much. So let's be fair here. So let's say you spent $50,000 on your vehicle. That's probably a lot more than a lot of people, and not as much as some people, that buy the $70,000 F-150 fully loaded. So let's just say it was $50,000 for easy math on your vehicle. So you have $100,000 you saved over doing the van life thing. So you divide that by the same hotel, $60. You can stay in a hotel 1,667 we'll just say 67 nights. So we'll say 1,667 nights you can stay in a hotel, which is a heck of a lot unless you're living full time. You're going to do the complete van life thing and live full time, but then you probably won't have a house either, right? So we're not even going to get into that, factoring in all that, right? Your expenses. We're just assuming the normal person that has a house still buys the van, goes out maybe on the weekends, once a month, they don't use it that much. They're probably driving it around just locally more than they're actually using it. So is it worthwhile? Again, that's up to you. I personally don't think, and this is when I start doing the math, when I realized, wow, it would be fun to have one, but it's really not. It doesn't make sense, financial sense. Why? So I mean, maybe down the road, if I was just to get a bare bones van, I go here, and when I do the build your van, let's say we go the cargo van, we still go with the cargo van route because it's the cheapest. And let's say we just go with the 144 high roof. Well, what's that give us? Continue to build. So that's saying 40,000 before you add anything. I suppose if you could keep one around 50,000, okay, I might get like a normal wheelbase one. Although I have a feeling, I don't know why, I kind of like the blue. Next, let's see. Well, yeah, this isn't even four-wheel drive, is it? Did I get to pick an engine? 4-cylinder gas. Did I miss the engine choices? I probably missed the engine choices. I hate these sites where you can't just go back. Okay. Build your van. Van life. Continue. Yeah, I don't see where it has the... Because I don't want 4-cylinder gas. Next. Yeah, this is the convenience packages. Let's say next options. So I guess in the little van you can only get the 4-cylinder gas. Well, okay, that kind of rules that out. I would kind of like the 4-wheel drive diesel engine. So, see, I'm already lost interest. Well, it would be nice to get this size with the 4-wheel drive. So anyways, let's say I just settle for that and it's $40,000. That's a lot of money. Let's say I add some options, it's $50,000 at the end of the day. I don't know. That's still a lot of money, but I could justify it by, well, you could drive around in it and you can, stay in it, right? So it does two things versus me factoring in a $50,000 vehicle to get to the hotel. Okay. Obviously, people are doing the $150,000 route. We talked about that. I have personally done the Rightline gear. This is what I have been testing and using. The Rightline bed tent. It works pretty good. Fairly easy to set up by myself. Anything with two people is always easier, but it's fairly easy to set up. This is without the rainfly. Rainfly just buckles in, which is nice. You can try throwing it over if there's no breeze, or it's better just leave it attached and put it up with everything else, and then cinch everything down, and then loosen it when you go put it away, and drop the tent in and take the poles out, and there you go. You can just drive away. That's what I have been doing lately. At the end, I just drop it, toss it in the bed, and take my tonneau cover, roll it out, shut the tailgate, and drive home when I'm done. And then when I get home, then I can worry about, the next day, or whenever I feel like it, putting this all away, rolling it up, and what have you. In doing it this way, I do have to carry my motorcycle on my hitch carrier. I also do own a motorcycle trailer, so I could use that if there was another person with me, but I would find it would still be tight for stuff, especially when I'm going somewhere, because I got my twin mattress. I slide on in. I put a one of those event tent pop-ups. I slide that on top of the mattress. On this side, I put a big long tarp, and I toss the firewood in, and toss the little camp stove, chairs, anything else. Slide it in under the tonneau cover. It's all waterproof that way. I just put some dust seals. You probably saw a video on me doing some seals to keep the dust out from the tailgate. So close the tailgate. That's dust free now. And I put my big cooler in the back here. Oh, I don't have 4 doors, but I put it in the back behind the driver's seat. And I just put other stuff, riding gear, what have you. I might put my backpack with clothes and stuff in here, under the tonneau cover. Whatever I can fit under here, put the rest in here. foods and stuff. And obviously, as I'm eating, I'm getting rid of stuff. As I'm pull out the firewood, that opens up a huge section to have for stuff to go back here when I'm going back, so I can just put my cooler back here and free up inside the truck. So this cost me, I believe, $169 on Amazon, $170. So to recoup that, plus I'll factor in some of the other stuff like buying the Jackery. I already had the twin mattress, but camp stove, stuff like that, little stuff. We'll just say all in for $500. So $500 divided by $60 a night, it takes me 8.3 stays in that to recoup my cost. Next to nothing, right? Well, the next thing obviously would be to get an REI tent. Like here's where is it? 6-person tents, $500, $600, various prices. We'll just say $500. Again, that would be 8.3 nights to recoup. A little bit more after you add on, needing still the camp stove and all that. So I don't know. Let's just say $700, $800 all in, divided by 60, 13.3 nights to recoup your cost. Still reasonable, still able to accomplish that, right? But I've been looking at and seeing a lot of ads for lately these Black Series campers out of Australia. And in fact, the one I just saw a video on was this, is what had me think about this last few days. And it's this one. So we'll click that one. So they don't tell you here, but in the video, I think the guy said it was 91,000, 96,000 in that range for this series of camper. Now, what looks cool about it is it looks really rugged. I mean, it looks rugged. It has this independent suspension system, which is pretty unique and nice, so it's going to float over the terrain a lot better. It has this rock rail / guard, which from the guy's videos didn't look like it would take an impact, obviously, but it looks like it would still get pushed up, probably would still protect somewhat the body, but it looks like it was attached there and back here. It did not look like it was attached in here. Maybe it is, but that's a big long span. I think that pipe would just bend, right? But this trailer sits fairly high up. But I'm going to round up to $100,000. So $100,000 for camper. We come back into that whole issue of, for $100,000, that's 1,667 nights in a $60 a night hotel. Obviously, here, let's be fair, because maybe this you're going to have your family, so you might stay in a better hotel with your wife and kid, as I would, right? I'm willing to go lower quality when it's just myself or a riding buddy. So you divide that by, $120 a night. 100,000 divided by $120 a night. That's 833 stays. That's a lot of stays in a hotel. And that would be a pretty nice hotel typically in most areas. Most areas out and about, Of course, some areas are nutty depending when you go, like Moab. Might be $300 a night for a hotel, but okay, let's for fun. $100,000 camper divided by that $300 a night. That's still 333 stays you can stay at a hotel, a nice hotel during peak season. $300 a night. I mean, in 330. I mean, unless you're living in the thing, you're not going to recoup your cost ever. Plus, you got most people, like if I look around my neighborhood, they have storage fee. They have, you're definitely putting a plate on this, insurance, maintenance. More likely little things are going to wear out and break. So you're going to have continual stuff you're just going to have to do, the maintenance. And seasonal maintenance, so because most people don't use their RVs in our camper trailers or whatever have you in the winter, so gonna go through the process of winterizing it. Probably still going to want to check on it at the storage facility from time to time. At least I would, because you would want to catch if somebody broke into something ASAP versus later. And whether, let's say somebody breaks a window, broke in, went through everything, or living in there for a bit, and you come and you find it come season time and weather's gone in there. Now the whole thing is totaled. Well, maybe that's what you want for the insurance money. But yeah, so you got to insure this thing. It's like a house. You got like a mortgage on it. For most people, you might have a mortgage on it. You probably have like 20, 30 years on $100,000. Can you really afford this? Plus the maintenance, plus the storage. If I had if this was pre-COVID, and these trailers, something that went for $100,000, you could get 4 years old and pay $25,000 for. Yeah, then I would be like, you know what? Yeah, this looks pretty neat. I could pick it up for $25,000, and you could tell the person only used it 5 times, because that's most RVers only use their RV maybe a handful of times, a dozen times at best. So it's still like brand new. Yeah, I would probably pick one of these up for $25,000. That kind of sounds reasonable to me. There's nothing on any of these that scream to me $100,000 worth of items. You got some tires, you got a frame, yeah, whoop-de-doo, it's a freaking box frame. Not a big deal, just because it's aluminum. Yeah, okay, it's the biggest expense of this guy has going for is, I believe it's made in Australia and it's shipped here. So it means this thing is shipped in probably however they fit them. That's probably why it's the dimensions it is and the price it is, shipped over. Well, that's going to add a lot of expense. So you probably have $5,000 in this for shipping, I'm guessing. So, that's why they have to charge. And obviously the manufacturer has to make money, and then the dealership has to make money. Everyone has to make money. So it's why it costs $100,000. I get that. Now, I'm not saying there's not nice features to this Black Series. And heaven forbid, if I'm lucky enough that Black Series saw this video and said, hey, you want to try one of these for a year to change my mind? Sure, but I'm going to tell you the truth too. So I don't know if they would be willing to go for that. But yeah, my understanding is dual pane windows, which is, I guess, typical on EU RV caravans, as they like to call them, by the way, in Europe and Australia, caravans. So I guess it has nice features compared to what typical US manufacturers put on theirs. This is supposed to be rugged, it's supposed to be off-road, but still, this is a huge thing. Think of our Colorado trails, because I'm in Colorado. If you've been in Colorado, our trails not only are rocky, gnarly, then this probably can go right up that, but you're going to have trees on the side. You don't want this thing tipping boom, 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 and damage. I just don't see hauling this anywhere. Most people are going to haul it to a freaking campground. So is it going to look cool? You're going to show campground and you have these 2 full-size with rims on the back. Yeah, it looks awesome. It sits pretty high, like I said, and you can put a hitch carrier here. I don't know what it holds. I wonder if it would hold a dirt bike. You could then, God, you would need a long ramp though. I would have to have somebody modify a ramp so I could roll the dirt bike up. I don't know exactly how you would get it up there, because that's pretty high. Even a 6 foot, my 6 foot ramp I use would be pretty steep, and that becomes dangerous because the bike is so high above you. You would definitely need to do something. Probably have a ramp that's longer so it's less of an angle, but you would have to have some type of steps here so you can walk up. Boom, boom. I don't know. Interior, it's not big inside. To me, it doesn't look fancy, but I guess I'm not a RV connoisseur here. And then of course they have like pop-ups and stuff. And I watched a video that was out of Australia that the guy had a Black Series and was like showing the rust, and the canvas was already going to shits. And yeah, I don't know. It didn't seem like that quality of a unit for probably what he paid, but then again, might be paying a lot less there in Australia too. And so maybe these for export are made a lot better. And plus, we also are talking about, you know, whole solid units versus pop-ups. So, I was looking at this, but for the price, it's like, again, that's a lot of hotel stays. That's a lot of Airbnb stays, which we'll get into the Airbnb here in a minute. And I showed you the. Why does it randomly change? Where did the bike accessory? I don't even know where that tab came from. I think REI just popped up a thing on me. And so I was also, before the Black Series, I saw these Oliver. Well, I like these Olivers. They're also pricey too. Starting at 57,000. I think I priced one and it was like, I want to say it was 80 for the little one, but I don't remember. But we can see their models. Their travel trailer. You got the Legacy Elite, Legacy Elite 2. I was thinking about the littler guy here. But what I liked about these is made in Tennessee, not far from my parents' place. It's fiberglass with foam core with fiberglass inside. So it looks like a boat inside. I think I clicked there. Starting at 57, walkthrough tour, quality and luxury. See, double hulled fiberglass shell. So inside reminds me of a boat, of a yacht. And it seems like the design is pretty much taken from boats, yachts. I kind of like it. I kind of like these. I like the idea because my understanding from the reviews I've read is with these guys, when you want it cool inside, it stays cool. When you want it warm inside, it stays warm. It's a true 4-season because you have that foam core. It also is the quietest sleep because that sound deadening of having that dual, you got the fiberglass, you got the middle with the foam, and you got the fiberglass. You also have less likely anything's going to leak. Anytime you have a hole through anything, potential for a leak, a failure down the road. That's my understanding of RVs, campers, whatever. This, you're less likely to have a leak, to have water intrusion. Now, does that mean it's easy to upgrade something, do something with wiring? I don't know. I would think not, because you don't have panels to take down. You probably have to fish wires through, but you would hope that they're at least using good quality stuff, that you're not going to need to do that, right? You can always use the existing wiring, but you might not be able to easily add something to a certain place unless it's like wireless or something like that. As you can see, it probably has radio, it has the TV, it has a seating area / sleeping area. And as you can see here, you can have a bed like that, or you can go with this being the bed. That's also becomes a bed. Your toilet area, toilet, closet, bed. See, that's how it kind of turns into. So you got a nice sitting area otherwise, and I guess turns into the bed. See floor plan. Here we go. So yeah, it exactly reminds me of a boat. Stainless steel, fiberglass. Seems like it would be something that would actually last forever. My understanding of the Oliver travel trailers, is that they do keep pretty good resale value for what they are because they're more desirable. They are considered more of a luxury travel trailer that does, stay around, that does hold up for over time, and you're not going to have, issues. But, yeah, you could step up here. So starting at 65,000. So I don't know. 65,000 though, man, that's still a lot of money. That's starting at, but okay, so let's assume 75,000. Divide that by 60. That's 1,250 stays in a $60 a night hotel. But this would be family, so it would be fair. Let's say divided by 120. That's 625 stays in a freaking hotel. Now, I know what you're all going to tell me. You're all going to say, Mark, but with a trailer, you can stay remote. You can stay in remote areas and you're right out there with the wilderness, with the scenery. Well, I can also drive to those during the day from my hotel room. Now, granted, there are some remote places like, wow, it'd be nice to stay here. But at the end of the day, am I missing something? I don't feel I am when it comes to the money. It's like, I'd rather have that $65,000 invested into something where I'm going to be making $100,000, $200,000 on that 65,000 versus spending it on a freaking camper trailer that, yeah, it's gonna let me, I guess, be out there a little bit more with the wilderness than a hotel and driving to the wilderness. I don't know, or from my house driving to the, the forest. I guess that's where it comes back to, what do you like? I, I can't decide for you. It just, I don't understand the appeal. I do understand the appeal, but I don't want to part with my money necessarily to go do the camper thing. Um, I think I think if you're about recouping costs, your best bet is something like this or a 6-person tent. I like big tents because I like roominess. I like 6-person for 1 person is awesome. I got plenty of room I got my cooler. I got plenty of room for my dirty clothes. I got plenty of room for my mattress. I got plenty of room to change. I can stand up. I can do whatever I want. Plenty of room. I hate this 6-person really means it's a 3-person. You would never want to stay in this thing with 6 people. What, cocooned? When they show those diagrams of the mummy bags? No, no, thank you. But, as smallest I would probably go typically is 4-person. But the price it's REI price, so you drop a little bit in price. So, which just means you'll recoup your money that much quicker. Like, I've already probably recouped my money for what I have going on here, and this keeps me off the ground, which is nice. If you're worried about being in a tent because you're on the ground, bear country, well, this, at least if, say, a bear comes, you got the sides here to protect you. They would really have to get up on this tailgate, and they wouldn't know they could actually probably push in the tent until they go do it. And I'm going to feel that, and I would wake up, probably scream like a little girl, and they're probably going to scurry off while I look for the key to hit the panic button or the unlock button to illuminate stuff. That they're going to probably scurry off. Where if you're in a tent, they can collapse that whole tent on you and drag your ass out. Where this, they're probably going to get scared and continue on. So I think if you have a truck, this is kind of the way to go. It does sleep. You could sleep 2 in here comfortably. A double mattress might fit in here. I would think would fit in most beds. It all depends on your bed. Mine's the 6. Ford calls it the 6.5. It's like really 6.7. And I have plenty of room for the twin, and on the side, like a little walkway to kind of put my clothes, my jackery to charge my phone and GoPro batteries and just odd and ends. And I have a little 12-volt fan if I were to need it. If it got cold. I hope I don't use the fan when it's cold. When it gets warm, with the rainfly on, it can get pretty warm in here like any tent. These do zip open. It's a screen mesh here, another one on the other side. The top is a screen mesh. And then you can unzip inside the door, and then this is a screen mesh. So you do get good airflow through, and you probably get excellent. It's probably not hot at all without the rainfly on. I just put the rainfly on all the time. Just keeps the dust out. Here's a picture of the rainfly. So rainfly, that's what it looks like. It keeps dust out. It also, or minimizes the dust, doesn't keep it out, minimizes. And it also, if it happens to rain, because you never necessarily know when it's going to rain, then, this is already on. You're not trying to do it in the middle of the night. And plus, it's a little bit more privacy, too. I don't know. I mean, I guess with the meshes up here, Windows Zip, you have privacy. but it's just a dual layer, so it is going to kind of cut down on the light even a little bit more. Should you be in a campground that I found out where side-by-side guys are starting up their side-by-sides in the middle of the night to go use the bathroom because they're too lazy to walk their fat asses to use the restroom, which they could use a little exercise, those side-by-side guys. I don't know what the deal is, but one starts up and goes, uses it, the next one starts up, so we were getting headlights. This probably does cut down somewhat. Good thing is side of a truck. I just turned myself facing the other side and then worrying kind of, sleeping bag slightly over my head, and I didn't have to worry about the light, but yeah, it wasn't annoying. But, it is a tent, so you're going to have some tent properties. But this is the best way, I think, to recoup money is through tent camping. If you're actually doing a budget, if you're getting into all these other methods, it's going to, you're actually probably never, unless you're living in the thing, you're never going to recoup your cost. You're doing it for the luxury aspect, to have the toilet or to have the shower, which I totally understand. I am definitely a shower and a toilet person. So I actually like campgrounds, or pit toilets are fine too if they're maintained. And I'm somewhat okay with using water and a cloth, and I have those expanding towels. Did a video way back, and I have like hundreds of them. So I have probably 500 of them. So I have all these expanding towels. So I just use those, and they also, I just throw them in the fire, and they burn. So minimal trash. I'm all about minimal trash taken out. I don't want to take out stuff. So we can debate that in a different video. But I'll burn most of my trash. If I can burn it, I burn it. So here's the inside kind of straps. Yeah, the pocket doesn't work quite well. It's probably made for an older sized truck where they don't have such wide bed rails, and like my F-150 is pretty wide, so it's like that, or even worse if you don't line it up right. But yeah, a pocket here, a pocket on the other side. It's the same on both. And yeah, like I said, this is probably the economical way to go to recoup your cost. You're never going to recoup, for most people, your cost on this. You're buying it for that convenience of it has a toilet. It has a shower. I don't even know if this one has a shower. I think they might. I don't know the floor plan, but I think the Olivers do from the floor plan we saw. Yeah, they have a wet bath. So, well, at least a toilet. I don't know if it has a shower. But you could also do that. I could at least, if I really was into the whole camping thing, I could just get a cassette toilet, right? And put it in here. When I get to a place, get one of those shower tents, pop-ups, and put up a little shower tent, put the cassette toilet in there, and there's my outhouse, and you could go that route. Shower, or you could use it for a shower too, with a shower bag, and go that whole route and get your shower in. Some people like that. My one buddy, Ride with Will, he likes kind of doing the whole somewhat tent thing. It's just, and he's doing it kind of economical with a used old RV camper top thing, is whatever it's called, that goes in the back here. It pops up it pops down, it has hard sides halfway, pops up, canvas. Honestly, I'd rather stay in this than what he has going, because he has to leave that in his truck all the time, and I wouldn't want to leave something in my truck all the time, even if I had a third car. I just wouldn't want to do that. Once again, recoup my costs from here, less maintenance, less hassle, is easy. This is easy, and I'm not getting paid by Rightline. Get a tent. We can talk about tents all day. I'm not getting paid by REI either. I just figure I use them because they have a lot of tents on their site. See, they have a Coleman here. So for $119, two stays in here, in this, and it pays for itself. If you're okay with being on the ground, I have my normal tents. I have a little small, like, 2-person tent. I have Like I think mine's a 4-person tent or 6 or something like that. And then I have my truck bed tent. So I have various ways, and the truck is easier because you're off the ground. I don't have to worry about rocks or anything. I just park, I bring some 2x6s or 2x4s or 4x4s, some just wood I have laying around, and I can use it for the tires to level out, but I haven't needed to. Luckily, I've found ground that has worked just fine. Worst case is try to find ground where you can tilt, so wherever you're going to have your feet, have those slightly downhill, and it's not a big deal, or at least for me, it's not a big deal. Everyone's different on that, but when it comes to the vans and the trailers and various methods, it's just not too economical, really, to get these and justify them. And then a lot of these people, like I was saying, stay in campgrounds anyway, so they're going to drop $100,000, $150,000, and they're still plugging in at a campground because they still want AC. So they didn't need the toilet inside. They didn't need the shower inside because any decent campground that has services has that. You might as well use their their stuff. You might as well use their toilet. Now, I do know one guy. He has a nice travel trailer thing. It's a pretty big unit. And he was like, no, I use my shower. I use my toilet. He goes, that's why I bought it. But most people don't think like that. Most of these people, they're just like, oh, no, I'm using the campgrounds. And they stay in campgrounds because they want AC still. I mean, nothing wrong with that, but you got to figure, okay, you just spent on that big thing $120,000. You just bought that brand new truck to tow the thing for $70,000. So you got $70,000. So you got $190,000 plus, you got your taxes on the new vehicle, the taxes on the RV. You got the license plate fees each year for both of those. You got your insurance costs for those. You got maybe a storage place for your camper. I don't know. I mean, we'll just round that up. $200,000. I mean, $200,000 on all that stuff divided by 100. I'm gonna say $200 a night hotel. We're going all out. That's 1,000 stays. How many people camp that much where they're going to have 1,000 nights somewhere? I want to say most people not. You don't even have that much time off until you retire, and then that's a whole different issue. You might sell your house, and then that's what you're doing. Well, that's a totally different issue. I'm gonna go over $60 a night just to see. That's 3,333 stays in a hotel at $60 a night for $200,000. That's a lot of stays. Well, no one is typically doing that. No one is using that lifestyle. Now, like I said, if you're selling your house and you're just going and living like that, you're just going to go do that, then okay, I guess it makes sense. Another thing is cost. Since COVID, everything has cost a lot. So like you're getting, you're paying premium for used stuff. Like I said, some of this stuff makes sense, like the campers and stuff. If you could pick it up for $25,000, that $100,000 camper. I mean, people that held on to their older campers and then this hit and weren't using them and then sold them made out like bandits because they otherwise, well, they didn't make out. They still lost money compared to what they paid. If they paid $120,000, they might have got, $70,000 for it versus, before COVID, that thing was worth like $20,000 and you saw it all day long every day because I was kind of looking at things. $20,000. I was just like, wow, $20,000 divided by, I'm even going to up it. Instead of $60, $80 a night. That's 250 stays. I'm like, am I going to stay 250 times in it? Probably not. Would I use it that much? I don't know. Would I? Because these things are kind of like pools. They sound fun. sound great, sounds like you're going to use it a lot, and then you end up using it a handful of times a year. You know, for most people, that's pools, hot tubs, and campers. Stuff like that. It sounds great, and you go spend the money on something new or even used, and you find out, wow, you know, I don't really use that like most people. It ends up sitting at the storage facility more than it does being out and used. You know, I mean, I know my neighbors have a big one, and they had a guy here for a bunch of times getting things fixed on it. It was parked in the street, and then they have went and they might use it once a month, if that. So for once a month, maybe they go somewhere for a weekend. You know, let's say you go 3 nights somewhere times, I don't know, $250 a night. You're staying in some nice places because you're older. That's $750 a month times 12 months. That's $9,000 a year. Okay, and let's say your unit. There's a pretty nice one. So let's say 100. I want to go with 120 divided by 9,000 a year. That's 13 years. 13 years of staying in hotels once a month for three nights, once a month at 200 at $250 a night. Is that what I said? God, I don't even remember now. But what I'm saying is they're not ever going to recoup their money unless they start living in it. I don't know. What do you all think? I just rambled on probably long enough, but man, I just cannot wrap my head around what people spend and how they justify it, and to each their own on that. But, you know, it's a lot of money that you're probably never going to recoup. I think the only way you're going to recoup anything by camping is going with what I have or going the traditional ground tent. Or if our economy changes and you can start picking up, you know, something like this for pennies on the dollar, okay. Or you can find something like this that's down the road that's 15 years old that's going to cost like $10,000 used. Yeah, it might need some, you know, refreshing, but 10,000 plus another 5 refreshing it, you got 15 into it. Okay, I guess I can understand. I don't know. It just seems kind of silly to me. But hey, if Black Series want to reach out or Oliver says, hey, you want to try one of these? We're going to change your opinion. I might change my opinion after I use them and be like, you know what? Well, I would never go back to sleeping in the bed of a truck or on the ground. Maybe I would. I don't know. But anyways, get out there and enjoy life. Don't worry about what I think in the end, like I started out saying. Just get out there and enjoy. I just can't wrap my head around who are buying these things and how they're justifying it. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you think. Have a good one. Stay well, stay safe, my friends, and take care.